So you get to the end of the deal, the business owner's down, they're in, and they say, Nick, I'm in. You've convinced me. I just don't have $2,000 to give you. I can have it by Friday. Let's say it's Monday. I can have it by Friday, but can we start Friday? Can we start next week? What do you do? How do you deal with that situation? Like, so they don't cancel, so they don't change their mind. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you do. I just did this. I don't have a watch on. I just did this about 2 hours ago. Just barely closed the deal, and this exact same situation happened. So I'm going to explain to you what you do. Now, I learned this. I used to sell home security systems door to door in 2013 all the way until 2016. That was my only source of income, 100% commission. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be dropped off in a neighborhood. I would have a clipboard, an iPad, and a pen and some contracts. And I would literally go around neighborhoods, knocking on doors, trying to convince people to sign a 5-year contract at $50 to $100 per month to get a home security smart home system put on their home. Okay. And the crazy part was, this was the company I worked for. They didn't do a great job because of managing their online reviews, because there were so many door-to-door people. There were so many negative reviews, and it usually wasn't an issue with the company. It was with the sales rep. But when you have that many sales reps, there's bound to be issues. So we would always run into this challenge that if we would sell a deal, let's say we got in the house at 5, we closed it by 6, we signed the contract at 6. If we didn't get the install, literally, if we didn't have the technician install the system that day, there was a high likelihood of that person calling and canceling, because they would go online, they would see a review. And so we literally had to knock on the door, get in, close the deal on the spot, and get it installed all at the same time. Okay. And as you can imagine, there were times when you would get in homes at 9 o'clock at night, because we would go from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 9 o'clock at night was our hours, right? We didn't work in the mornings. We'd kind of do our trainings and stuff in the mornings. So you can imagine there were situations where it just wasn't going to happen. They had kids, they had a early work meeting, something was going on, and they just weren't going to let you install the system. And so after a couple of cancels where I thought I had the deal, I went through all this work, I woke up the next morning to a text message that says, hey, Nick, thanks for your time, but we changed our minds. That sick, gut-wrenching feeling, knowing I just did all this work. I thought I was getting paid. Now I'm making zero. I started to figure out some tricks. And the same thing will happen to you if you're not careful with these business owners. They may be excited. They may be on board at that moment. But until they put down money, until they give you their credit card, that deal is not that it is not a deal until you have a credit card. Let me just say that. It is not a deal. And someone gives you a verbal, I'm in, that is not a deal. Even if somebody signs a contract, that is not a deal. Until I have a credit card on file and I've charged that credit card, that deal is not done. And so here's what I started doing going back to the home security systems. I started doing this little trick. And what I would do is I would text the technician. So they'd be filling out paperwork. I'd have the verbal, they'd be getting the checkout, all that stuff, so I could run the first payment. And what I would do is I would text the technician and say, hey, these people are not going to let us install the system tonight, but can you come over here and get the panel on the wall? That's like the main control unit that has like the cameras. You can view the cameras. You got, your alarms through there, your noise, all of your sounds, your tornado alerts, everything, it functions from this hub. And that only takes about 15 to 30 minutes to install. So the technician, I've dispatched the technician, they'd come over, they'd knock on the door, I'd be like, hey, I know you guys are busy. I know it's late. We're not going to install this tonight. We usually do, but I'm going to respect that. However, the technician, just so we can get things going, he's going to go and he's just going to install the panel, and he'll come and do the rest, the bulk of it, 90%, whatever's left tomorrow, when you have time. Okay, so they'd come in and they would drill a hole. They'd go with the customer, they'd pick a spot, and they would drill the hole in the wall, and they'd put up the panel. And guys, from the moment I started doing that little trick, since that day, I have never had a cancel. When I sold a deal and I had the technician drill the hole and install the panel, no cancels. Like, they evaporated. They literally were gone. And the reason why is because it was becoming real for the customer. They were committing. Somebody that has a hole in their well on a panel, they're like, well, we're already down. We already did the damage. We're not going to back out now. So why am I telling you a story about drilling a hole in a wall, doing home security systems to close a deal? Because it's the exact same thing. You get in a situation where the business owner is game. They're ready to rock and roll, but the money, whatever it is, I don't even know what the case is. A lot of times they are lying, by the way, just so you know. A lot of times they're lying. The credit card's in their wallet. They actually do have it. But sometimes they don't have the money. They need to move some money around. This is what happened to me earlier today. So here's what you do is you say, okay, here's what we're going to do, Mr. Business Owner, because I only work with one company exclusively, and because I have other people that are interested, I'm gonna trust you on this. However, we got to do something. So what I'm gonna do, I know it's $2,000. I'm just gonna send you an invoice for 500 today, and then you can pay the remaining 1,500 on Friday when you get everything figured out. Cool, sounds good. And I'll send them the invoice, and they'll pay the $500 on Stripe. So I send it via Stripe. It'll lock in the credit card. That person is not canceling because now I have a $500 non-refundable amount of money. They are not going to back out. Okay. Now, what if they don't have $500? Charge $250. What if they don't have $250? Charge $100. I have charged as little recently. About 3 weeks ago, I had somebody that wanted to buy one of my products and they had $50. They could give me $50 as a commitment. And that $50 to them meant as much as to some business owners, maybe 1,000 because of the amount of money they had. I took the $50. I said, PayPal me the $50. You're going to give me the first payment in 2 days when the money comes in, like you say, and I will refund you the $50 as soon as you pay. Guess what happened? A couple days later, money came in. I gave them the $50 back. Deal was not canceled. They did not change their mind. They were in. So, guys, trust me from somebody who has lost so many deals to this exact thing. The people changing their mind. Something, guys, you don't know what's going to come up. Somebody could be game today, and tomorrow they find out their car needs a new, I don't know, a new radiator, a new brake system. Their kid needs a surgery. You don't know what's going to happen between now and Friday. Get the money, drill the hole. $100, $200, $250. I recommend making it a couple $100 at least. That's non-refundable because that's going to sting and they're not going to want to walk away from that money. Get something, even if you can't get the full amount on the spot, so you have the credit card, so you see that commitment, and you will not lose that deal. Guys, if you like these videos, I have an entire Facebook group dedicated to tips, tricks, and strategies on how to sell flat fee deals and how to pre-sell flat fee deals. Link will be in in the description somewhere in this video or somewhere below it. I don't know where it's going to be. Click on it, answer the questions, jump in the group, and I'll see you in there.